Hello, today I'll try to explain why I think Embershard Mine is the perfect starter dungeon. I will be going over why I believe that this is the perfect starter dungeon for any new character. One disclaimer I do want to say before I begin this is that feel free to disagree, as this is just my opinion. So you can feel free to disagree with my opinion or the statements that I make in this video. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Alright, so let's start from the outside. From the outside there's not much to mention, only that there's two entrances. The front entrance, which has a single bandit outside standing guard. There's also a chopping block in a corner and a cart with some loaded wood. This wood is probably used to fuel the fireplaces that you can find within this encampment. And the other entrance is just an entrance that almost leads you directly into Riverwood, making this cave extremely accessible early on in the game. Now that we have taken a look outside, let's head inside. As soon as you enter, you'll see this cart on your right, which has the same purpose as the cart outside, which is to load firewood and to keep the campfires warm and toasty. At the bottom of this float there's a trap loaded with rocks, so be careful of that. Once you head further down, a conversation will take place.
Aren't you worried someone will wander in here? The entrance isn't exactly hidden, you know.
This again? I told you, we have someone standing guard out there. And don't forget the rock trap we rigged up. So, stop your worrying and get some rest. Your shift is coming up and I don't want you dozing off again like last time.
And you'll have multiple ways to take out these two bandits, which can be one of ranged archery, you can charge them down, you can use magic, whatever you fancy, or you can use my favorite, which is to use this trap against them.
By Eastman! You won't get away with that! It's not...
Whenever an NPC or the player runs into rocks, they take damage as if the rock is falling on you, so it's a pretty effective way to dispose of these bandits. Once the bandits have been taken care of, we can keep moving. Down this corridor to the right, the tunnel looks to have collapsed. There's a skeleton and a journal, which you can read. In this journal, the person writing talks about being worried of falling rocks, and unironically, that's exactly why he's dead. But it looks like his fear did get the best of him. So let's leave him in peace and move on. If you head left instead, you will find a cramped room with some furniture and a lever. Pushing this lever will lower the drawbridge, and two bandits will come to check out the noise. They will comment on the bridge being down and try to investigate. These bandits actually only spawn if you enter from this side, because if you enter from the other side, they just won't spawn at all, because the bridge will not be lowered. So they only spawn as soon as the bridge is lowered. So if you don't lower the bridge at all, they would also not be spawning.
I thought we had a guard posted outside.
We did. Keep your eyes peeled. I don't think we're alone. You check the entrance. I'm going to look over here.
Once you have defeated them, you can move up where you'll find two cells, one with a nothing noteworthy and one with a bandit sitting guard outside. Once you've killed the bandit, you can take his key, which will unlock both the cells. In this cell you can find a boss chest, which will contain some random level loot. And there's also a spell tome of clairvoyance, which you can take if you wish. Let's head further inside. In the next room there should be 3 bandits, however due to a bug or something, the third bandit is dead on the floor and doesn't have armor or head. Now I think this has something to do with my mod loader, but I'm not entirely sure what's causing it, or why this happened to begin with. But usually this guy would be the blacksmith. Once you have dispatched of the bandits, we can start looting this area and checking it out a bit more. Along with the forge, there's also a grindstone and a smithing table. And then on this wooden table you will find a light armor forging skill book, which will increase your smithing, so be sure to grab that too if you want level in smithing. The only thing missing from this forge, which would make it a full forge, would be a smelter, but you can find a smelter just inside the gates of Whiterun. Once you get further in, you'll find this like small room on the side which has some random level loot in a chest, and there's also a lot of gems and coins on this table. There's another chest down this way right beside the waterfall. By the lake the waterfall leads to, there's a fishing station with bait and fishing rod for those that like to fish, or if you don't have a rod yet. In total there's 8 iron ore veins. These are located in these positions. The first iron ore vein can be found right next to the fireplace where those 2 first bandits were holding guard. The second one you will find down this path at the crossroad leading to the lever or the collapsed part where we found that journal. The third one can be found to the left of the 2 cells. The fourth one is to the right of the cells. Further up the same hallway there's another one, which is the 5th one. The 6th one can be found right next to the fishing station on the right side. The 7th vein can be found right next to a chest by the waterfall. And lastly, there is a last ore vein at the very end of the hallway, just to the right over here. In the end, you'll end up with a lot of loot from this area, which you can use or sell off. Both ingots, gems and other precious materials that you can use to either forge your own stuff, or you can smelt it once you arrive in Whiterun and sell it off. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe you learned something too. The next location I'll be covering is going to be Halted Stream Camp, which I'll now begin to work on. If you have any feedback about this video, both good or negative, whatever your thoughts are, feel free to comment it down below. Any feedback is welcome as I try to make my videos as best as I can. But with that said, it's time for me to go write a new script. So with that, I'll thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. And maybe I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.